I'm Christine.
Standing on the deck of my yacht, watching the city of Miami fade into the distance, I can't help but reflect on the events that led me here. Just a few days ago, my family was sitting around the breakfast table, their faces a mix of shock, anger, and disbelief as they stared at the settlement statement that showed they were walking away with almost nothing. It all started when my aunt, Linda, posted a video of my new yacht on social media. Linda is a sweet-hearted woman in her 60s, but she's not very tech-savvy. She was just proud of me and wanted to share my success. Little did she know that it would open a Pandora's box. My parents, Robert and Carol, had ignored me for 5 long years. They were traditional and conservative, always believing that a woman's place was in the home. When I decided to pursue a career in finance, they saw it as a betrayal. I was the black sheep of the family, the one who didn't fit into their narrow view of success. My brother, Ryan, was the golden child. He was 30 years old, charming but irresponsible. He had a knack for getting into trouble, especially with money. And his wife, Stacy, was a calculating woman who was always looking for a way to get ahead. As soon as my parents saw the video of my yacht, they pounced. My father texted me, demanding that I sell the boat to help the family. He didn't even ask how I was. It was all about the money. I was in the middle of a high-stakes business negotiation at my office when my phone started buzzing. The texts from my family were like a bad dream, bringing back all the pain and neglect of the past 5 years. I'm a debt restructuring expert. I'm used to dealing with desperate people and complex financial situations. I knew that my family's sudden reappearance was not out of love or concern. It was about their own self-interest. When they showed up at the marina, they looked like vultures. My father, with his pompous air, thought he had the right to take what he wanted. My mother was scanning the other yachts, calculating the wealth of my neighbors. Ryan was disheveled and frantic, and Stacy was already filming for her social media. I decided to let them in. I knew that if I sent them away, they would keep coming back. I saw this as an opportunity to take control of the situation. I transformed my yacht into a negotiation room and prepared myself for what was to come. During dinner, they tried to guilt-trip me into giving them money. Ryan claimed he had an investment that went wrong and needed $248,000 to cover a margin call. But I smelled a rat. I knew Ryan well enough to know that he was probably lying. I decided to hire a private investigator, Jake, to dig into the situation. Jake worked through the night and found out the truth. Ryan had been gambling on offshore sports betting sites and high-risk option trading for 18 months. He had forged my parents' signatures to take out a second mortgage on their house to cover his debts. And Stacy, the snake, was planning to divorce Ryan as soon as the money came in and run off with half of it. I decided to buy the debt from the lending firm Apex Capital Solutions. I prepared a deal for my parents. I offered to buy their house for $1.5 million, which was well above the market value. But there was a catch. Ryan had to sign a waiver of inheritance, and all the outstanding debts and fees would be deducted from the sale proceeds. My family was so blinded by the promise of the money that they didn't read the fine print. They signed the papers, thinking they were getting a windfall. But when I presented the settlement statement, they were shocked to find out that after all the deductions, they were left with almost nothing. Ryan was furious. He lunged at me, but the security guard stopped him. Stacy tried to play the victim, but I had the evidence of her betrayal. She was forced to leave empty-handed. My parents finally realized the mess they had been in. They apologized, but it was too little, too late. I told them that I would pay the property taxes and home insurance on the house, but they had to pay for their own utilities and food. Ryan had to get a job and pay me rent if he wanted to stay. 3 days later, I held a final meeting in a neutral conference room. I presented them with the lease agreement for the house. My father tried to argue, saying that I couldn't reduce our family history to a landlord-tenant relationship. But I made it clear that blood is just biology. It doesn't give them the right to use me. My mother finally apologized for choosing Ryan's party over my surgery 5 years ago. I accepted her apology, but I also made it clear that the door to a close relationship was closed. Now, as I sail away from Miami, I feel a sense of liberation. I've learned that family is about behavior, not just blood. I'm leaving behind the toxicity and starting a new chapter in the Mediterranean. I'm the protagonist of my own story, and I'm ready to embrace the open sea.